Hello guys, before we actually start, I'm really sorry that I didn't really make a video, last time because, well, this, my throat feels like absolute hell. I'm currently I currently have a really scratchy voice right now, but just for you guys, I'm gonna be continuing on with this, just because of you guys, I'm gonna be making this an actual video. So, just ignore the whole coughing thing. Either way, let's continue on with the episode, ladies and gents. So, hello guys, I'm back from another video, and today we're talking about what if Deku was in high school DxD. Shice. But either way, continue on. So, in the last video we talked about how, actually, it's gonna be hard for me to basically see what happened last episode because of this. But, either way, either way, basically, basically what happened is basically, the so-called, Chaos Brigade basically attacked, does a bit of damage, and Rias had to go with with some members of her, peerage to basically get somebody, which apparently is her original, or at least her first, bishop, for a second. Either way, continue on with the episode. As for during the battle, Izuku would finally, use his balance breaker, which is called Hydra Veil, which literally turns him into a blind, completely badass berserker. That's basically what he became. And so during the fight, her name by the name of, what is her name again? Which her name was Catherine Leviathan. As she, during the fight, she was a bit damaged, but thanks to the help of, Officer Snakes, she was able to somewhat defeat Izuku, but unfortunately this time she's definitely not going to win. And so he would decide to use his most powerful attack, which is enhanced thanks to the help of, with his, balance breaker. But with the balance breaker, it doesn't really matter. Even if it's in its base form, it would just easily destroy them. So yeah, and so he would decide to use this powerful move, which he was meant to use back in back during the Riser, or at least the fried chicken arc, or the KFC arc as I prefer to call it. Kentucky Fried Fuck. The KFF. Oh god. Kentucky Fried Fuck. God damn it. But either way, as he would decide to use his special move known as Eclipsing Sun. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on. As after doing so, it would cause several of the mages that were basically helping out Catherine to basically go bye-bye. Yeah, they didn't escape. And so, after doing so, she would be knocked down but not killed. And so, Izuku would decide to summon in a portal and would basically trap her there. But, during the whole confusion, Valley decides to basically betray Azazel because apparently she's a part of a new group, which is Chaos Brigade. Or Chaos Brigade as it's now called. As after doing so, she would join up with the rest of her gang, which includes Kuroka and a guy by the name of Baiku, which apparently he's a sort of descendant of Song Wukong, aka the Monkey King, aka Mr. Million Times Immortal. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. If you've seen his legend, you can probably know why he's called a million times immortal, because let's just say he eaten a lot, and I mean a lot of anything that basically makes people immortal. Like, for example, first immortality, when he became a Buddhist figure. Next, basically, writing out his, name, and also the monkeys, the other, monkeys' names in the Book of the Dead. Then, basically, eating, immortal peaches, then immortal granting pills, and other shit of that sort. That is why I'm probably gonna be making a what if about, Song Wukong. Or at least, maybe Bella's Song Wukong? Anyway, continue on. Actually, very interesting idea. Either way, let's continue on with the episode. As after doing so, Valley would basically, escape with Baiku, which Baiku was not really happy seeing Izuku because of his aura. Let me explain. Yokais, right? And they're able to, sense energy, or at least sort of. At least I think so. I mean, I watch a lot of, fan fiction, so mostly about like, well, mostly about like, DxD now. And I think Baiku and any type of yokai can sense like, any type of natural energy, including the, energy around like other people. And just imagine Izuku's energy being similar to a gigantic ass miasma. More specifically, the Rotten Veil, right, from Monster Hunter? Imagine that, but 10 times as worse. Yeah, that's basically what he feels like. Internal damnation of rotten death. Yeah, that's basically what he is. And so they would start escaping to Baiku's, relief, because he's not going to be fighting Izuku for obvious reasons. Quite the, well, let's just say smart decision. Let's just say that. And so, after doing so, we would also see, well, Rias and the rest of her group basically, like, going to a special, like, room which was blocked off by a large cabinet, as she would release her first, bishop, which apparently her name was... Anyways, continuing on, as apparently her name was Casper Vladdy. Yes, I'm gonna be doing another, like, type of thing where, Sulfurite replaces 5-inch can, let's just say that, and replace it with, like, extra large melons. But, instead, like, the melons, instead, it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna be keeping that. Yeah, we're just gonna do, like, the mini fucking melons. God damn it. Anyway, so, after that battle, Izuku would basically tell all of them that he's gonna be leaving. But, to the dismay of, like, Gabriel, which, if you don't know, she's a bit of a, let's just say, a fan of his. And so, after doing so, they would start leaving. Or at least Izuku would start leaving. But unbeknownst to him, apparently, both his parents and also the, families of both, Sona and also, Rias are basically in his house, talking. And let's just say, it's definitely not going to be fun. So yeah, that's where we basically ended off the episode. And so, let us talk about what happens next. So, while he was going home with the others, including Issei, as Issei is currently, well, pretty much tired during the battle, including, Rias and some of her, members, including, well, apparently also, well, what is her name again? Sona and also Sheer Purge would basically start, going with Izuku as well, as Izuku would say this. So, why are you guys coming with me exactly to my house, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically Sona. Well, we're here to talk to my parents, more specifically about our arranged marriage, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, it's still gonna be annoying to deal with, especially with my parents basically now gonna be teasing me about that, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically, well, Kiba. As Kiba, she would say this. Wait for a second, my throat. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue on with the episode. As we currently see Kiba, as Kiba would say this. Well, I can certainly see why. As, one of them specifically, what's his name? As we currently see, Saji would say this. Well, I mean, yeah, I can definitely see why. I can just imagine my parents basically making fun of me. He would say, as Izuku would say this. See? As one of them would say this. Specifically, Vladdy. Hello, she would say. As Izuku would notice her. As he would say this. Hello there, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, hi there. Are you perhaps a new huge member of Rias? He would say. She would say, as after saying so, one of them specifically, Rias, she would say this. Well, no, unfortunately, she would say. As after hearing this, one of them would say this, specifically Sona. Unfortunately, what's that supposed to mean, she would say? As she would say this. Oh, nothing, she would say. As sparks would start, flying, between them. As Izuku would say this. I do not like where this is going. As, one of them would say this, specifically Saji. Well, good luck, Izuku, he would say, as Izuku would say this. Hey, don't leave me out, he would say, as he would say this. Well, that's technically your problem, and it's definitely not my problem, he would say. As Tsubaki would say this. Alright, I think I should be going. Especially since Saji's gonna be doing homework. And I do need to tutor him, he would say. And she would say, as Izuku would say this. Wait, I thought Saji was supposed to be, as she would say this. Well, he's currently lacking on his grades, so, as Izuku would say this. I see, he would say, as Saji would say this. Well, let's just say, a day of playing, like, let me just think of it. Beast Killer is basically like, well, a night of basically playing Beast Killer is a bit of a, hassle to say the least. And if you can guess what is that supposed to parody what, then you get a cookie. I'll give you a hint. Several fucking monsters, and it's basically in fucking Australia. Okay, wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue on with the episode. Anyway, as he would say this. Hello there, little. As she would say this. May I ask you this, Izuku? She would say. As Izuku would start looking at the girl, specifically, well, Vladdy. As we currently see, both, Tsubaki and also Saji basically left already. As Izuku would say this. What is it, Vladdy? He would say, as she would say this. Well, are you, what period are you in? As he would say this. Oh, I'm in Sona's period, she would say. As she would say this. Really? Huh. Okay. As after saying that, she would start looking awkwardly, as one of them would say this. Specifically, one of, the peerage members of, Tsubaki. Not Tsubaki, I meant, Sona, as one of them would say this. And oh yeah, the guy over there is basically, going to be engaged to Sona. After saying that, she would say this. Wait, what? She would say? As he would say this. Yeah, it's more like an accidental thing. At the time, I didn't know, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, then, is Miss Sona... As she would say this. No, I'm not really mad, but... Well, that was pretty unexpected when we first met. Especially with the whole, chess game, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah, I never really thought of basically getting married at this age, he would say. As she would say this. Yeah, me too, she would say. As both of them would start looking at each other, as they would start blushing. As we currently see in the background, the other girls, except for Vladdy, basically getting jealous looks. Except for, the other, non-important members of, Sona's group. Like, for example, the blue-haired one. But... God damn it. But, we would also, be nearby, or at least, nearby, we would also see, both the Moriyama and Katase basically going home, as they would start feeling something abnormal, as you would say this. Why do I feel like that we should probably kill somebody right now that's trying to steal our Izuku, she would say, as one of them would say this, specifically Moriyama. Yes, I do agree, I do agree, Katase, she would say, as both of them would start having mad smiles a little bit, with, an angry look. As something would start to happen a little bit, something would start to flicker on their backs, and each of them would seem to be, well, in their respective places. Like, for example, Moriyama seems to be on her lower, I guess you could say lower, where on top of, the buttocks is, while the other seems to be, the lower back. And so we go back to Izuku and the rest of his group. And so, after riding back home, he would say this. Hey, Mom, Dad, and, wait for a second. Cowiner, Rainer, Millet, I'm back, he would say, as he would say with a tired voice, as the others would also take off their, shoes. As after doing so, they would start walking into the, into the living room, as they would see, well, something interesting to say the least. He would see his dad, also Rias is also, Sona's dad basically, having a bit of fun, as they're currently drinking. As we also see, Izuku's mom, Sona, and also, Ria's mom, basically also, talking to each other. As one of them would say this. Oh, hi, kids, said, Izuku's dad, as Izuku would say this. Wait, Dad? What are you doing? He would say, as he would say this. Just drinking with new friends, he would say, as he would start hiccuping from the drink, as one of them would say this. Yeah, it seems absolutely fun, said, Mr. Citri, as, Sona would say this. Dad! Please stop, Dad, she would say, as he would say this. Don't worry, Sona, it's all fine, he would say. As, we also see, her mother, aka, Miss Citri, as she would say this. It seems that my husband seems to be a bit too drunk, she would say. As, Izuku's mom would say this, aka, aka Inko, as Inko would say this. Yeah, I do agree, she would say, as one of them would say this. Specifically, what is her name? Vitalana, as she would say this. Yeah, as we see Zigarigas basically grabbing another drink, as, Rias would say this. Please stop this, Dad, she would say, as she would say this. Oh, don't worry, honey. It's just a bit of fun, he would say, as he would start, putting in more wine. As one of them would say this, specifically, Millet. We told them to try not to drink, but as, Raina would say this, but it seems that they didn't want to, listen, she would say. As, Raina would say this. Yeah, agreed. Said, they pretty much annoyed Rainer. As we also see Cowwinner just like in the background, just like, I really need to get a drink myself, she would say. Maybe we can get away to basically, make Izuku drink, she would say. As she would start looking at him, picking up some, let's just say, not really Christian ideals. I mean, I'm not wrong. I mean, she is a freaking fallen angel. Anyway, continue on. As we currently see Izuku. As Izuku would say this. I think I should be going to bed, but before you can, his dad would say this. Hey, kiddo, we just want to talk with you, he would say. As, Theodicus and also Mr. Mr. Citri would say this. Yeah, you too, they would say. As all three, Izuku, Rias, and also Sona would start walking up to them. As one of them would say this, specifically his dad. Well, I never thought my little son over here seems to be going to be marrying a devil, he would say. As after saying that, Izuku would say this. Wait, you know that they're... As, one of them would say this. Specifically, well, his mother, as she would say this. Yeah, we already knew that you're probably working with devils. And also, she would say, as she would start looking at, all three of the girls. As all three of the girls would just be surprised after hearing that they know that, Izuku was working with devils, as she would say this. And I never thought that you would basically get mates that are fallen angels, she would say, as she would laugh a little bit. As one of them would say this. Wait, how did you know? As one of them would say this. Specifically, one of like Sona's like random members. As Irina would say this. Yeah, how did you know? Auntie Inko, she would say. As she would say this. Well, because we're also from the Suchi. Because we know. The reason why is because we're also a part of the supernatural, she would say. As also, his dad would say this. Yeah, I guess it's time for you to finally know who I am, he would say. As Izuku would say this. Wait, don't tell me that you're... As he would say this. Yep, take a reason why that we were wearing, Gaelic runes, he would say. As he would say this. Wait, don't tell me that you're... As he would say this. Yep, we are a part of the Irish faction, they would say. As they would start changing into their, I guess you say, normal clothes. As his mother would start wearing something that's similar to, well, just imagine Skahawk. Oh god, just imagine Skahawk, right? Basically, Skahawk from Fate Grand Order. That's basically what she's wearing. As for his dad would start changing into, well, samurai armor. almost resembling, something that you would see in, like, well, Sekiro, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice or something, I don't know. Or, something that you would see in Elden Ring, more specifically the samurai fit. And, by the way, why is there, like, I was still pretty much questioning, why is there, like, a bit of, like, Asian influence in, in Elden Ring? I mean, most of it is basically based off, like, Irish or, anything like European, but a little bit of, well, what is that called? Yeah, a bit of, like, Asian influence. It was a bit, well, a bit of a, let's just say like a flashbang to say the least, but a welcome flashbang to say the least. But still, I was a bit confused at the time, so just imagine something that he's wearing, like, something that, the guy that basically drops, like, rivers of blood? That's basically what he's wearing. And yeah, this is obviously foreshadowing. Yeah, anyway, continue on, as his dad would say this. Yeah. You may call me, as after saying that, he would, stab something, and that something was a sword. This sword was colored blood red, as the blade of it was almost like, rusted to the point that it's basically just like, all reddish with a bit of, like, orange. But it still seemed usable. The Suba was almost immaculate, but it still had rust. As for his, for the rest of his body, it seems to be almost resembling like a typical, like, Japanese style, like, samurai armor, but with a bit of, like, a little bit of rust. As he would also wear a half mask, which resembles a kabuki mask, as he would say this. You may call me the... You may call me the Rusted Ronin, he would say, as he would say this. Now, call me Akechi, he would say, as after saying that, his sword would start blazing with a little bit of blood-red fire, as his mother would say this. Well, time for me to introduce myself, she would say. You may call me Inko. Inko Skahak, she would say. I am also pretty much a not really normal person, because, you see, Izuku, she would say, as she would start looking at Izuku, as he would say this. Yeah, Mom? As she would say this. Well, the reason why we don't really let you see your grandparents is because, well, your grandfather's dead, but your grandmother, well, she's Skahak. A silence, just like absolute silence. And then, what? Izuku would just, like, explain, as he would just be wide-eyed. Him, being the, the grandson of the literal Godslayer, the literal wielder of Guy Ball, the teacher of freaking Kukulane, aka the freaking Child of Light, as Izuku would just be dumbfounded after hearing that. As, she would say this. Yeah, a bit of surprise. But still, a pretty nice one, she would say. As she would say this. Izuku was just, like, confused. Like, really freaking confused. He's basically how, like, like his brain is just, like, shutting down at that point. Just imagine, like, the Windows shutdown, sound, basically. As, everybody else is just going like, what the fuck? All of them would just say to themselves, except for Issei. And also Aisha. Sorry about the noise. Currently, Callie is basically, like, doing a stream. Or at least one of her previous streams. It's Bloodborne, by the way. And also, if you're wondering, I may be going to do a Bloodborne what if. Oh god. So many ideas, so little fucking time. But either way, as we go back to Izuku, as Izuku would say this. May I ask you this, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, what is it, my son, she would say. As he would say this. I'm just... Wow. He would just be super confused. As one of them would say this. Specifically his, his childhood friend, aka, well, Issei. As Issei would say this. Mind telling me who the hell is Skahak? She would say, as all of them would just, like, look at her. As one of them would say this. Specifically, his mother. As she would say this. Oh, poor little Issei. Well, you see, as after a bit of explaining, and after saying that she's apparently a freaking god killer, she would just go like, excuse me, the fuck? That's basically what she thought. Like, she would just think, Nani the fuck? God, wait for a second. And I can just imagine, like, well, Issei's just like reaction after hearing that. As she would say, "Excuse me, you're saying that you're the daughter of like a freaking God Slayer?" She would say. She would say this, yeah. And not only that, she's also said to be the teacher of the greatest hero of Ireland. And if you're asking, yeah, she's able to do that as well. As in killing a god, she would say. After hearing that, all of them would just be shocked. Including, well, Riaz. And also Sona at the same time. Like, Sona would just be, I think I made the greatest decision imaginable, she would say. But still, it's gonna be embarrassing during the wedding, she would say. As we also see Riaz basically having a brain aneurysm saying, "Come on, why couldn't I get him?" she would say. As she would say this to herself. Anyway, continuing on, she would say this. By the way, she would say, as she would start looking at her husband, as she would say this. Well then, can you please give him his gift, she would say. As he would say this. Oh, yeah, about that, he would say. As she would say this. Please don't tell me you. As he would say this. Yeah, it's still going to be working for it's still being worked on for a few more, days. So, as she would say this. God damn it, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Wait, what do you mean? He would say. As one of them would say this, specifically his mother. Well, we were meant to basically give you a present. But it seems that your dad, forgot to remind the maker to basically make it about 3 days ago. Oh well. But either way, we also got you a new gift as well, she would say. I meant another gift for you, she would say. As she would say this. Wait, really? What is it, he would say. As she would say this. Well, it's in... Wait for a second. It's an all-expenses paid trip to a little, private beach, she would say. As everybody would just be in shock. As, Kiba would say this. Huh, that's pretty unexpected, she would say. As one of them would say this. Specifically, Sona. That sounds actually great, she would say. As one of them would say this. Specifically a drunk, Circus. Yeah, kids. It's actually... Shit. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue on. I'm really sorry for that little, jump scare bit. But either way, as Circus would say this. Yeah, it's actually a private island that I sort of rented myself at a whim, he would say. As, well, Lana would say this. Yeah, and you basically didn't tell me. And I wasn't really happy about that, she would say, as a menacing aura would start growing around her. As we see a pretty much scared, Circus, as he would say this. Not Circus. Let me just check. Well, it seems at the time I was basically saying the wrong name. His name is Zeoticus. I meant Zeoticus. Anyway, continue on. So, as Zeoticus would say this. Yeah, honey, he would say, as he was still sort of drunk but sober enough to basically, hear that. As she would say this. Now, I want you to basically give him that little, all expenses paid trip for them as a sort of, a sort of way to basically, repay that debt, she would say. As she would say this. I meant he would say this. Yes, honey, he would say. As he would say this. Anyway, we sort of made you kids, well, a bit tired, especially with all the days of, deal with several problems. Especially world-ending problems, he would say. As he would say this. But either way, I want you to at least, take a rest and also have a bit of fun. And so, I want you to have this little moment, he would say. As all of them would just be excited, as one of them would say this, specifically Issei. Right on, she would say. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, I do agree. I've been wanting to have a bit of rest, for all of these, days of, they're freaking torture, and also probably a bit of work, he would say. As one of them would say this. Yeah, I do agree. As one of them would say this, specifically Rainer. Ooh, I've been always wanting to try out my bikini, she would say. As Millet would say this. Yeah, definitely, she would say. As, well, what's her name again? As Calwinner would say this. Oh, are you perhaps sad because your chest is not that big, she would say. As after hearing that, we would also hear Kaneko basically having a bit of a twitch in her, a twitch on her, or at least like having a, an angry mark on her, on her forehead. As after hearing that, she would say this. Specifically, Millet. Hey, don't you dare say that, she would say. As she would say this. Oh, come on. At least you're not, how do we say this? Oh, yeah. Not well endowed, she would say. As, Millet would say this. Why, you damn cow milkers, she would say. As she would say this. Cow milkers? Tuh, says the girl that literally got... Well, actually, you basically have a childlike buddy than anything else. Actually, the only thing that, the only people that would probably, like, go out with you is probably pedophile. Sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, continue on. As after hearing that, Kaneko would say this. Hey! As after hearing that, all of them would just be surprised. As Kaneko would say this. Hey, at least I don't have, at least we don't have, literal freaking others, she would say. As she would say this. Oh, are you a bit, are you a bit mad, Miss Kitty Cat, she would say. As after hearing that, they would start fighting. And I mean, all three of them would start fighting. As we currently see, the rest of the girls just like, sweat dropping, including Izuku himself, as he would say this. Well, this is certainly going to be annoying, he would say, as his mother would say this. Well, it seems that you have a harem, she would say, as Izuku would start to blush, as he would say this. Wait, what do you mean by that, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically his father. Well, it seems that we have a lot of girls basically fawning over my son. I'm super proud of you, he would say, as he would say this. Dad, he would say, as one of them would say this, specifically, Sona, as she would say this. Ahem, she would say. As, both of his parents, including, her parents, including, also, the parents of, like, Ria's, as you would start looking at Sona, as she would say this. Well, if you don't mind, I'm still pretty much Izuku's, wife, she would say. As one of them would say this. I mean, you're right, said, his father, as he would say this. But I could also imagine that, Rias could definitely join. But I'm still not, sure about that, said, Izuku's mother. As his father would say this. What do you mean, he would say. As she would say this. Well, I'm not really into my son basically getting his... Well, as she would start pointing at his crotch, as she would say this. Basically getting broken. As after hearing that, he would say this. Yeah, definitely not. As she would say this. Although, I can definitely see you basically getting some specialized spear training from, one of your friends over there, she would say. As after saying that, she would have a lecherous grin. As Izuku would start to blush, as he would say this. Mom, he would say. As she would say this. Come on. It's just a little joke, honey, she would say. As after hearing that, he would say this. Seriously, Mom, you basically you made me have a heart attack, he would say. As after saying that, some of the other girls would start blushing, but most of them, like, Issei over there are basically, having a lecherous smile. But for, well, for Sona herself, well, let's just say she's literally having an aneurysm right now. Just imagine her face. Of the same color as Ria's hair. Actually, no. Deeper than that. So, yeah. So, after that, one of them would say that. Specifically, Sona's dad. Anyway. We also got another little thing, he would say. As after saying that, one of them would say this. What is it? Said Izuku. As, Xeonicus would say this. Well, you see, you're gonna be getting your house renovated, he would say. After hearing that, Izuku would say this. Wait, what? He would say? As one of them would say that, specifically his mother. Well, you see, our house seems a bit, small. And so, because of that, we're planning to basically renovate it. With the help of our lovely little devil friends over here. As one would say this, yeah, there's also going to be some great bonding experience, for us at least, he would say. Said, Mr. Citri, as, Sashki would say this. Or, wait for a second, or the bloodstained Ronin, or the rusted Ronin, or whatever you want to call him, as he would say this. Yeah, agreed. I can't wait to basically get a little man cave for myself. And also, son, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah, dad, he would say, as he would say this. Maybe next time try not to hide anything weird about, yourself. Especially with the whole DNA, fusing your, basically getting several DNA of, several, well, other species, he would say. As he would say this. Wait, how did you know? As he would say this. Well, you basically locked it in a special chest of yours. I was able to crack it. As in crack it, I mean basically slicing it apart, he would say. As Izuku would say this. Are you mad by any? As one of them would say this, specifically his mother. Well, no. Well, sort of. We're sort of mad at you're basically fusing your DNA with others, more specifically some other species, which I almost thought that they're going to die or become even something worse. Probably even dangerous, she would say. But it seems that you're okay. So I'm happy for you. But still, I want you to at least be safe. And I don't want you basically causing a bit of trouble. And although that you're technically not human exactly, she would say, as he would say this. Wait, how did you... As she would say this. Well, we recently gotten that, when we first birthed you, or at least I birthed you, your body, your almost physiology seems a bit different from us. Especially with those little thingies on your back, she would say. As he would say this. I see, he would say. As one of them would say this. Well, either way, said his dad, as he would say this. I think it's better for all of us to basically get some sleep. As Xionicus would say this. Yeah, yeah, I should agree. Hey, he would start looking at his daughter. As she would say this. Yeah, Dad, she would say. As he would say this. You can sleep here for now. And as he would start looking at, the others, as he would say this. You may go now. As after doing so, he would start leaving with, Venilana. And as for, both Mr. and Mrs. Citri, as Mr. Citri would say this. And also, wait for a second, what's his sister? And also Sona, he would say, as she would say this. Yeah, Dad, she would say, as he would say this. I want you to at least, get to, better to basically, how do I say this? Wait for a second. I want you to at least, please, and also, at least take care of Izuku. So, why not basically stay here for now, she would say. He would say, as she would say this. Wait, what? She would say, as after saying that, she would say this. He. Yeah, I want you to at least bond a little bit more. Especially because you're gonna get married, he would say. As she would say this. Yeah, that would make sense. After saying that, one of them would say this. Specifically, Ria's is... No, not Ria's. I meant, well, Izuku's mother. As she would say this. Good. Now, I think it's better for us to basically get the futon, she would say. As after saying that, her body would start to change, transforming back into a normal-looking woman. Without the skin-tight freaking bodysuit. And after that, both Ria's and also Sona's, parents would basically leave. After doing so, they would start setting up futons, mostly for, the others. As Izzy already told her parents about that she's going to be sleeping with Izuku for now. Which, when she put that on, on her thing there, aka when she texted that to her parents, well, they thought of it as another way. As her, his dad, her dad would basically just lucky boy. As her mother was basically telling her to basically use protection. Or have a... Oh, God. And as for the others, they were also getting ready to get some sleep as well. As for the other girls that were also in Soda's Spirit, for example, the random ones that I don't really care about, researching about, well, they would mostly just go home. And so that was basically sort of the end. and so everybody would instantly fall asleep. So yeah, and the next episode I'm probably going to be making this What If a little bit more funnier. More specifically, I'm going to be doing sort of the OVAs. And if you're wondering what do you mean by OVAs, I mean the beach episode, the noodle episode, which and also probably my own fanficky one, which is probably just going to explore Izuku's side of the family. More specifically, is more Gaelic or Irish side. So yeah, so those are basically some spoilers for the next episode. But either way, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.